Hello, I'm Sean Quinn, and oh my goodness, now I'm the Scarlet Witch. What? I just watched all of WandaVision in one sitting, and I decided that I wanted to dress up like Wanda and review the TV show with you guys. So if you want to see how this happened, keep watching. My headdress will not stay. It's fine. Please keep watching. If you're not like me, you probably watched it by week, so week by week. And I don't know what that experience was like, but what I can tell you is that I tried to hold off from watching it or getting spoiled by anything because I really just wanted to binge the whole thing altogether. So I waited 9 weeks to watch anything WandaVision content, but as of yesterday, I watched all of it. I have some feelings about it. So today we're going to turn into Wanda, her like original character, WandaVision, like her costume for the Halloween episode. And there are going to be some opinions expressed. If you have not seen WandaVision and you are looking for a spoiler-free review, this is not the one for you, and I am very sorry. Please just, skip this video. Don't get spoiled by me. There are spoilers ahead. I'm warning you. I think the first thing we need to do is take these off. Right? Let me explain. When I was watching WandaVision, honestly, the first thing I felt was, man, I haven't seen a new Marvel thing in 18 months or whatever it was. And I've seen 2 DC movies in that time. Isn't that crazy? Who am I? This definitely gave me that same feeling of like watching a Marvel movie, but there was also a lot of really fun mystery, trying to figure out what's going on with her, what's going on there. Now, I used to go to my local comic shop when I lived in New Jersey. I would go to the comic shop every Wednesday because that's when new comics drop. And I would get new books. And that was around, I want to say like 2015, 2016, I used to do that. When the new Scarlet Witch books came out, I picked them up because, like, I mean, look at the art. Like, gorgeous, right? I was a little bit familiar with this storyline going into it, but I didn't finish the comics because then my comic store closed. I watched it with my boyfriend. It was good. Review over. It was good. Can't talk and do this at the same time. What am I thinking? So this is my first video of like doing a review for media. Is that like, I don't know, just let me know if you like this video. If you don't like this video, ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Every time I do my makeup, I basically only do my makeup on Sundays now because that's the day that I don't go to work. And every time I do, I'm like, oh, I really need to grab, more mascara, or I have to grab more this, whatever. But then I forget until next Sunday. So this look is just sort of basic. So it's not like I'm not doing anything crazy. What was I talking about? When you put lotion on and you're like, oh my God. Is my face red? It's always red. Okay. So let's start from the very beginning. Episode 1. So the only things that I really knew about this going in was what the like promo images was showing me, and I knew that there was sort of like from the comics that I had read, I basically knew that like because of her grief she created this simulated world in the multiverse so that her and Vision could be together. That's what I thought this was, and I had no idea going in if there was like extra stuff or if, whatever. I just knew that was that, and that it had sort of like this sitcom-y vibe, and then it was like kind of meta. And I just want to say that, like, can we just give praise to the fact that it's called WandaVision, which I understand. I understand that that's both of their names, but it's like television. Isn't that just so clever? I feel like that's a tagline from this whole show, is that it's like the writing and the like meta aspect of it is just so clever. Just so clever. First episode is a 50s sitcom, and what I heard from people who were watching it week by week is that it was boring. And I think that's coming from people that haven't watched The Dick Van Dyke Show or I Love Lucy, or, you know, stuff that they haven't, I don't know, what do you say, like, they don't know that formula. They're not ready for that. And I feel like anyone that said that it was boring was not enjoying all the references, because when Max and I watched it, we were just like cackling at how silly and how like, oh, look at this reminds me of this, and oh, this house looks like this, these old TV shows that we know about. And I thought that was such a huge part of my enjoyment of this TV show was the references to sitcoms that I had seen before, to like this sitcom genre. Like even their acting had changed, you know, the way the music was being presented, the way, like, the words that they were using. Right away you meet Agnes, who is their neighbor, and I just immediately loved this character because she's the Ethel, you know. I live tweeted when I was watching it, and the first thing I said about Agnes is that she must be a bitch because she drinks a martini like one. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with her, but stay tuned. The first episode is so cute. It's just so cute and makes my heart so full. I just want, like, it follows them on a normal day. They had just moved there, and they don't know why there's a little heart on the calendar. Why is there a heart on the calendar? They can't figure out why. And they're like, the sitcom-y setup is that, like, they didn't forget their anniversary, that you forgot the anniversary, whatever. But it ends up being two-pronged, because on one side she thinks she's doing an anniversary dinner, so she's planning with her neighbor that they're gonna have this awesome anniversary dinner, so she's gonna look sassy, and she's gonna make a dinner for two, etc. And then Vision is at work, and he does like computer tech and like doesn't know what he does, and no one can tell him because it's a sitcom. And his boss fires a guy because they had a bad dinner party. And the boss is like, okay, it's your turn, Vision. I'm not gonna promote you if we have a bad dinner party. So because he wants to do well at this job that he doesn't know what he's doing at, his boss comes over, he brings his wife. The one thing you do notice in this episode, though, is that Vision has to use his powers. Like, they're trying to hide their powers, but they have to use their powers to save some guy's life. And there's like this weird moment where the one lady sort of glitches out almost. She just keeps saying stop it over and over again. It's a little creepy. And I feel like that's the most telling that this is like this sort of weird thing. The end of the episode ends with the TV playing, and you see sort of modern day. You see that they're at SWORD. And SWORD is, you know, Sword and Shield is the like intergalactic version of the Marvel Task Force, basically. And I'm pretty sure it, like, I don't know everything about SWORD, but I'm pretty sure it's going to tie a lot into this new wave of Marvel things, like with like Young Avengers and the like girl group with Carol Danvers and Lady Thor and She-Hulk, that kind of thing. So they're setting all up this SWORD stuff. They're setting it up now because that's what's happening. Episode 2, we've moved further on into the 60s. So the first one is probably 61 when they were looking at, like, if you look at the clues or whatever, probably 61. That's like when the Dick Van Dyke Show was out. So we're looking at Bewitched now. It's got this really cute Bewitched animated beginning. I love that. I think they did such a great job with that. In this one, there's a lot more weird stuff happening. Number one, they're getting ready for this talent show, and they meet some more ladies in the neighborhood. You meet Geraldine, who is gonna be a bigger character for sure. And she also, like, my favorite thing was that she didn't know what her name was until she, like, shook the hand of Wanda, and I feel like that was like an indication of like putting her into a speaking role kind of thing, because it seems at this point that Wanda is in charge of everything, right? Going to a talent show, there's this one moment where like the radio starts playing and you hear someone trying to talk to Wanda, like, who's doing this to you, Wanda? There's a helicopter. It's like the only red things in this black and white world have something to do with the outside world, basically, and they're like triggering her. There's like one moment where this girl smashes a glass and breaks the skin. She starts to bleed. It's a lot. So this episode is definitely diving into that, but it's still got that lightness feel. At the end, they kiss, and they're talking about the children a lot in this episode. Now, there is a theory going around that the world is trying to push Wanda to have these kids because that's what Modesto? The demon dude. He's like forcing that so that he can use her children against her or something. I don't know everything about that, but that's the theory, is that like the world is pushing Wanda. But in my head, I think Wanda wants that, and I think that's why that's sort of part of it, is that like the nuclear family is really at the center of all these sitcoms. So it's like sort of a natural progression into her world, and at the end she all of a sudden has a baby bump. Last thing that's really weird is there's this like banging outside. There's banging at the beginning of the episode and at the end of the episode. They go to find out what it is. Some guy comes out of the hole in the ground. What do you call it? A manhole. A man comes out of a hole. He's wearing a beekeeper suit and there's bees around, and she just says no, and it skips back, like it reverses, like a rewinds. So that's when you start to see that she does have some control in this world. It's not just happening to her. And I think that's our first indication that this is her magic. This is her mind games happening. After that, like, the episodes sort of, they run together a little bit, which is great because it pushes farther and farther into, you know, what is actually happening on the outside, which is cool. So in the next episode is the 70s. So it's very like Partridge Family, Brady Bunch, Mary Tyler Moore Show, and she's pregnant, and she, like, the progression of her pregnancy is fast, and she ends up having the baby. Now Geraldine comes in and helps her have her baby, but Wanda gets triggered by her necklace, which is a sword symbol, which she knows is an outside thing because it was on the helicopter. I should probably do other parts of my makeup. I just keep tapping my face. And then Geraldine is like nowhere to be found. There's like the neighbors are glitching out a little bit. Agnes is like, she's like stopping somebody from saying something weird. Like, that's sort of my indication that something like else is big is happening here, and one of the townspeople know what's going on more so than Wanda does. Like, I don't think she's cognizant of what's actually happening at this point. And I have to say that, like, at this, like, in the 70s, you start to get color, which is really great, but the production design and the attention to detail that this TV show has for like the eras of sitcom and television is just like chef's kiss, man. It's so good. I appreciate it. Okay, next episode, we get the sort of like behind the scenes version, the outside version, where after everyone comes back and we start to see some things. Like, we find out that Geraldine is Monica, which is the daughter of Maria Rochambeau from Captain Marvel. And we also find out that she's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that some other guy is in charge now because everyone died. And, you know, she just comes right back to her job. And she's grounded. She's set on ground. She can't go do intergalactic stuff, which she's pissed about. I'd be pissed about that because, like, I didn't ask to be snapped, you know? This ain't me. This ain't me. So she gets sent to Westview, and that's when you start to, like, get all the information about Westview. It's a real town in New Jersey, and it all of a sudden just sort of, like, everyone forgot about it. There's, like, a local amnesia for the law enforcement, and we don't see any law enforcement inside the town, which is interesting. But they all think they're from Eastview. They don't know what Westview is. It doesn't exist. Even though there's signage and there are houses, you just can't go in. There's this barrier around it. They don't know what it is yet. They don't know anything about Wanda in there at all. Geraldine gets, like, thrown in. So then we meet Darcy from the Thors, and she notices that it's a broadcast. She gets some old TVs in there, and then that is how we find out that it's like a you can see what's going on in Westview, and they know it's Wanda. They don't know if it's Wanda. Like, whenever I do my eyebrows, I just make them black because I look better with black eyebrows. Oh, I do. Okay, well, we can do that then. I'm gonna try a reddish brown. We're gonna see how it goes. And it sort of looks like the guy that runs S.H.I.E.L.D. right now is like F that guy, because he's, like, you can already tell he's evil. You can already tell. They do very little to mask the fact that that guy sucks. So, I'm not upset about it. He basically, like, they assume that Wanda's this threat and they have to take her out. And then, like, Geraldine's like, when Geraldine gets thrown out from the 70s episode, she's like, no, she's, like, protecting me. She's not doing this on purpose. I don't think, like, there's another reason here. There's something else going on here. You can't just, you know, try to go in there and destroy her. She's also, like, one of the most powerful Avengers. Like, what are you doing? Basically, that guy sucks. So, and Darcy is like, this guy's dead, right? Like, she's looking at Vision. She's like, he didn't get, like, blipped or whatever. He's dead. Like, she's creating matter in there. And then they put that guy in, and he's wearing a hazmat suit, but when he goes into the 60s episode, he ends up in the bee costume because that's the closest equivalent to what he's currently wearing. And everything sort of, that what they call it is that it goes with the production design, which I think is interesting. So she is manipulating an entire town, which is just, like, so much power, right? Like, the 80s episode has her kids. Agnes comes in and is, like, helpful with the kids, and then she starts to notice, like, more and more, like, they're not hiding their abilities as much anymore, and, like, Agnes is totally fine with it, which, like, again, leads me to believe that she's in on it somehow. And she keeps talking about Ralph. Who the F, like, where's Ralph? Like, she's the only one that doesn't have a husband that you can see. And, like, all the men get together for a, like, neighborhood watch in the second episode, and, like, we don't see Ralph. Who the F is Ralph? You know what I mean? And it's at this point that Vision is starting to get a little confused. He's starting to become a little more self-aware of the fact that he doesn't see any other kids in the neighborhood. People are acting weird. It doesn't seem like a normal neighborhood. He doesn't remember his life before Westview. He's not sure what he is even. Like, he's really confused. So she's trying to push it all away, and it sort of runs into a portion where it's like he's, like, demanding answers, and then you get a knock on the door, which Wanda insists she didn't do, and it's her brother. But it's not her brother. It's a new guy, and it happens to be the guy that plays her brother in the Sony pictures, which I find great. I think that's an awesome way to, like, use a different actor. So then, the next episode is the, like, 90s Malcolm in the Middle episode, and Vision, that's the Halloween episode, that's what I'm doing today. And he's like, Vision is really suspicious. He's pretending to go on a neighborhood watch run so that he can investigate like the outskirts of town. And when he does, he notices that the people that are all the way on the outskirts of town aren't moving. They're in position, but they aren't moving. And now there's a ton of kids, which I love that detail where it's like, oh, Vision said that there wasn't any kids. So now they're doing a holiday that like has a ton of kids. And they're all really visible. They're all out. And Vision catches Agnes on the outskirts of town. And she's like confused why she's there. She's sort of stuck. She like, you know, he blips her. She goes back to normal. Like it's super. She basically says like they're trapped here. Westview is trapped in the spell of Wanda. And, you know, Vision tries to run out of the force field, but he's not real. He's matter created by her spell. So as he starts to do that, he disintegrates. When they find that out, because the boys now have superpowers, she expands the force field, so it sucks him back in, but it also sucks Darcy in. It sucks some of the like camp of Sword is sucked in. Geraldine and Jimmy Woo are not in there, so they try to go in the next episode. Basically, Sword has gone rogue. Well, no. Sword is trying to eliminate her like she's a threat, and Jimmy Woo and Geraldine know that she's not. And Geraldine is like, I'm gonna go back in, but Darcy's like, no, your molecules get changed when you go in. She's like, I've seen that before. My mom had cancer. And then she goes in again, and then her eyes start to glow. So I think we got a new superhero, friends. I looked it up because I was like, is she like another mutant? Is she going to be like this universe's like Storm or anything? Like, what can she do? What can she control? And I think her name is either Spectrum or Photon. And it seems that she can manipulate her own matter. Like, she is no longer a solid thing, but that she's made of light, which is interesting. And I don't know what that is, and I'm excited to see that explored in the new Marvel movies and things. The second to last episode, we get much more information. We find out that Agnes is actually Agatha Harkness, which in the comics is this like bitchy witch lady who is like an old teacher of the Scarlet Witch. And what it is like Agatha is an ancient witch from Salem time. She's really powerful. She stole the power of her coven because she's evil. She saw what what's-her-face was doing, what Wanda was doing, and noticed the telltale signs of the Scarlet Witch, which is this like ancient, foretold, powerful person who is like full of chaos magic, even more powerful than her. So she was like, I gotta check this out. She goes to Westview. She starts to help manipulate everything so that she can kind of trap Wanda. She traps her downstairs in the basement where she has all of her own runes, and Wanda can't do any of her magic to save her. So during this, she goes back through all of these like traumatizing moments of Wanda's life to see where the trauma was triggered into this simulation. And like we can all sort of guess that it was like Vision's death, but it's not Vision's death because people start to blip, right? And then it looks like she stole Vision from the Sword headquarters, but then you find out that she didn't. She just she went there to go say goodbye and to like bury him, but they were like, no, we own him because he's made of metal that we own. Which is not true. He was Tony Stark, so, like, if anything, wouldn't he belong to, like, Pepper? Maybe not? I don't know. I don't know, whatever. Suspect. Basically, Vision didn't want to be turned into a weapon because he's, like, really highly intelligent. That's exactly what they were doing. So, like, fuck that guy. We knew he was evil. That guy sucks. And she went in there to say goodbye. She didn't steal the body. Then she went to Westview because there was like a little note from Vision that said like where we can grow old, and it's the same heart that was on the calendar. It's a plot of land in Westview where there could be like a cute house, and she breaks down because this is like, as you see, like her solace from her Cold War upbringing was like these old American TV shows that showed a beautiful, happy family that were safe and having fun together, like the Dick Van Dyke Show and Malcolm in the Middle even. Like these are all really, that's a really heartbreaking moment that I think was done really well with her and her brother being saved from the bomb and thing. Her powers are from the Mind Stone, so it stands to reason that like Vision is part of the Mind Stone that lives in her. Like that's where his powers are coming from. And it's just like, she's just really strong. She's just got like really strong powers, this lady. Basically, Wanda is... she's also trapped in this. This is like her grieving life that could have been. The way she's doing that is by, it's like a very extreme form of disassociation. So you know how when something really terrible happens and you like feel like you're outside of your body because you don't want to be in your body, because if you were in your body, it's just, you would feel too much. Well, she's doing that, but except being in the world. She doesn't want to be in the world. She wants to be in this world. So she created a whole simulated world where she can have everything she wants. But even she didn't know that. She didn't know that. She knew that she can control things, but she didn't know she was trapping other people there. You know, it's this hard choice where it's like, either you keep this charade up and you like ruin all these other people's lives, or you give up your happiness, this like happy fake thing, and you go back to regular everyday, you know, sadness. So that's what we're sort of building up to this moment. I think the themes of grief in this series are done really beautifully. Like there's that quote, what is grief if not love persevering, which I would also argue in this instance it's love preserving, right? Because she's preserving Vision from being a dead person into like a real person that they can spend more time together. It's just beautifully done and very sad, and I love it. And so we go through all of these moments of Wanda's life, this sadness, and we finally find out why Westview is the way it is. We finally find out that the villain of this is Agnes. She has this amazing song, Agatha All Along. It's so catchy and silly. I have to be quiet while I do this. I can't talk and do this or else I'm gonna put mascara on my eyelid. Agatha All Along. She's got some sweet digs, Agatha. She's got some amazing looks the entire season. I think she's an excellent villain. She does such a great job. And that actress, oh my god. I loved her in a lot of the things I've seen her in. Like, she just is like endlessly funny to me. Anyway, Agnes wants all of the Scarlet Witch's power. They fight about it, and Vision comes back and has to fight Mega Vision, which is just the corpse of Vision that they reactivated from Sword because they're bad guys now. And then he ends it with a paradox, which I think is done so well. If all the bits and pieces have been replaced, is it the same thing? Like every time you replace something on a ship, the ship of Theseus. I just had to run to the car and get all the groceries out. Where was I? I can't remember when I keep getting distracted. Vision wins. Vision wins over Vision. Ah! Oh my god. My foot caught it. Wow. Okay, so basically at the end, Scarlet Witch tricks Agatha and then traps her in the reality. She lets everybody else go, and she has to say goodbye to the fake Vision, the boys that she has created. It's really sad. It's really sad, but I think it's really well done. Like when he asks what he is, she's like, you're the part that lives in me, you're my hope, you're my sadness, you're my love. It's really beautiful. And then he says, well, since we've said goodbye before, and since we've, it stands to reason that we'll say hello again. And it's so beautiful and lovely. And I really hope that Mecha Vision you know, is able to become Vision again, because I love the character. I love Paul Bettany, firstly. Secondly, they have such a lovely story, and they're so strong, and I just love them as characters. And I love them before as characters too. So this isn't just a WandaVision thing. This is a please keep my babies. Stop killing my babies. Okay, now I'm gonna put my hair in braids. I'm just gonna do braids because I'm not doing anything crazy today. I'm gonna try to get this video out really quick because, like, I don't want people to not be talking about it in a week or whatever. So here's what I think. I think that this is an amazing setup for Doctor Strange's movie, and I don't have a lot of gauge on whether what Doctor Strange's movie is going to be about. I think it's going to have something to do with her kids, because her kids are characters in the Young Avengers, and I think that's something that we're doing. Like, we have America Chavez happening. This was a really fun viewing experience, and I just miss Marvel stuff. Like, we were real psyched about the Black Widow movie, and they took it away from us. Like, I get it, I understand that they want people to see it in theater for money reasons, but I want to see it now for me reason. Cinemas are opening up. We'll see how that goes. Everyone get vaccinated so we can all watch a Marvel movie together. Elizabeth Olsen was so wonderful, and we really saw that she is a multifaceted actress. I loved her performance in the sitcoms. I think she really took to that, like, style of acting really well. Paul Bettany too. He's incredible, but we knew that. We knew that. I think it's fun to see that we have some normies getting all together, working hard for their money. I can't trust government agencies. I'm excited to see what happens in these other Disney Plus shows, just because I think there's a couple of different sides to Marvel Universe, right? There's there's like the Avengers, the Tony Stark company, the On-Earth dudes. There are the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.W.O.R.D., who are like part government, part not government, and the things that they deal with. There's the mutants. There's intergalactic stuff. There's so many different things that are coming together, and this is our first instance of, like, going into that new phase of Marvel. So there's so many open-ended questions that this series leaves us with. So I'm excited to see what, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, what that adds, what Spider-Man's gonna add, Black Widow. Well, I think Black Widow is just origin. Whatever. Basically, it just made me really sad that we haven't had anything since we had Endgame. We technically got some Ant-Man Wasp, but who cares? We're doing a little arts and crafts today. You don't do arts and crafts? It's got like a... Oh, you know what it definitely looks like? It looks like Catra. And apparently Elizabeth Olsen was the one who was like, can it be the original for the Halloween episode? And I can't imagine they would not do that, though. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you do that? I also love this series went pretty dark. Like, there are some really dark imagery moments. Commend them for that. I think that it's it's exciting. Dark imagery. I mean, we're really excited about multiverse being a horror movie. Well, at least I'm really excited about that. Aren't you excited about that? Who could, like, who's not excited about that? So Photon is gonna go to outer space, and I wonder if that has anything to do with the, like, Captain Marvel group. It's also in outer space right now. Like, when she was like, I got other things to do. Bye, I'm going to outer space. Oh. Wow. Okay. I, of course, didn't get the gloves out before putting up this backdrop. So, give me a second. I always get hair in my eye. Okay, for this, just gonna glue it onto my face with latex. What do we think? Okay, so Try not to get latex on anything you own. I don't have a cape, which sucks. It's like one of those cosplay things that I just don't have. I have plenty of wigs. I have gloves. I have like special effects things. I have elf ears. I don't have capes or cloaks. I don't have any of that. And I think it's because I used to work at theater and I would just borrow capes and cloaks from them. Now I can't do that. Get my capes and cloaks all by myself. Is that better? Is that less Catra? Huh, no. Yeah, it's better. I couldn't go taller with my little spikes. I didn't have enough foam. You know, when you improvise something last minute, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it looks like shit. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's going to be interesting to see where Wanda is going to end up in this mix of new Marvel things, because now that she has all this power, now that she's unlocking all of this knowledge of the multiverse and about what her role in it is as the Scarlet Witch. She has chaos magic. I'm excited to see it because they're already starting to plant the seed of like, you don't know what you've done, you don't know what you're doing. Like, I think she's sort of setting off this whole, she's gonna be a problem. I know that there's like storylines of her going after mutants and stuff, but that's literally like every storyline that has a mutant does that. Honestly. Oh my god, it's coming together. WandaVision gets a big thumbs up from me. The writing is so endlessly clever. The meta portions of storyline are so fun. And it's, you know, it was fun to like watch and try to figure out which references are coming from which show that you've already seen. The characters are done really well. The writing is strong. Have you watched WandaVision? What did you think of all the stuff that happened? So that's that. That's WandaVision. I want more of it. I just want to watch more of them pretending to be happy. I like that. I like that kind of escapism, disassociation, you know? You know what I'm saying? Final thoughts. WandaVision is worth your time. It's the first step in this new phase of the Marvel Universe, and I'm really excited to see what all of that is. I do think it has really dark imagery, so I'm excited for Doctor Strange to have some really dark horror moments. And I really love Wanda as a character, and I think they did a good job with her. Paul Bettany is an angel. Agatha Harkness is a great villain. We're going to see her again. I 100% think she's going to pop up in the multiverse because she's got this like wealth of knowledge. She was a teacher to the Scarlet Witch, so she's got this wealth of knowledge. You know, Wanda doesn't have this background. She wasn't taught any magic. She doesn't know what she's doing, really. So now she has this tome of knowledge. She's, you know, studying. We've got a little taste of like what's going to happen to Spectra or Photon or whatever. She's going out of space. Something going on. I'm just glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in the Marvel Universe. I'm going to start reading comics again because, oh my god, I miss it. I miss doing things only for me, you know? You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm going to stop playing with this fucking headdress. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, I have a Mary Poppins one, a similar Mary Poppins thing down below where I review the Mary Poppins Best of My Makeup. If you want to see more media reviews like movies or books or anything, let me know here. I also write for a horror blog. That's also in the link tree, so check that out. If you want to see what I think of some new horror books that are coming out, I write reviews almost twice a month, basically. Yeah, so let me know if you liked it. Let me know what you thought of WandaVision. I would love to find some other like Marvel heads in the comments here. I want to talk about it. Talk to me. Talk to me. If you want to see the final photos of this look, go ahead and check me out on my Instagram. If you want to see the TikToks I make from this look, go ahead and check me out on TikTok. What's really great is that all my handles are the same. So if you have a social media that you like to use, I'm probably on there. And it's Qfacepaint. So check me out. We met our goal. We surpassed our goal on Instagram for the month of March, for the first week of March. So I'm feeling very confident that we're going to meet our March goal. I'm trying to earn 100 followers on Instagram a month because I was at like 1,200 basically. I was at 1,200 and then Instagram deleted my account for no reason and they didn't give it back to me and it was the worst. So looking to grow there. So if you want to give a mouse a cookie, go ahead and check me out over there. Thanks for doing this with me. This was a lot of fun and super last minute. So love you. I'll see you next time. I don't have a lot of forehead to begin with, so I really need this to, like, all my pictures are gonna be like this because my stupid headdress. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.